One thing I hated about being bald is the reflection that shoots off of your head. What's up, y'all? So first off, a lot of you might have found this video and you have no idea who I am. So my name is Yousef. I formerly ran a channel called fousey that had 10 million subscribers. I also did vlogs on fousey, which almost reached 4 million subscribers. And now I moved out of LA to New Jersey to be with my family, and I started a new channel that you're currently watching called Cats. So if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Would love to have you guys. It's a lot of fun, and yeah, there's my self-promotion for the video. So this video is gonna have a lot in it. It's gonna be funny. It's gonna be educational to a lot of people who are looking to do, what I did and have similar experiences with hair loss. And it's also just gonna be, I'm just gonna talk. It's gonna have a lot of lessons in it. It's not planned or anything, but let me preface by saying the 21-year-old version of myself would never have been able to make this video. Because the 21-year-old version of myself would have been too insecure, too shy, too shameful, guiltful, scared, and all that stuff. And you know what? Even the person I was yesterday, I would not have been able to make this video. But with each day, you grow, you learn more lessons, and you get a whole new insight, into life and growing up and who you are. So the person I am right now, at 27 years old, on this very day, is strong enough, brave enough, secure of himself enough, loves himself enough to be able to talk about his biggest insecurity, have that be okay. Because it used to be such an insecurity that it used to burden me, and it used to affect my happiness, and it used to chain me up. It stopped me from doing a lot in my life. And I know a lot of guys share this same sentiment. Ladies, I don't know what your insecurity would be on this of large of a magnitude, but I can tell you, firsthand, one of the biggest things for men is going bald, losing their hair. So my story, since this is gonna be like a little educational thing, I'm gonna make this like a whole thing for you guys because I know this video is gonna help a lot of people. And you guys are gonna be able to be a part of this experience that I'm about to do, which I'll get to. So I started losing my hair. I have two older brothers and a father and a sister and a mother, but I have two older brothers. One of them went completely bald at about 25. One of them still has hair to this day, and he's in his 30s. So genetics played a weird, decision in my family. For me, I had hair, and when I first moved to Los Angeles when I was 21, I think I was when I moved to Los Angeles, I had hair when I was 23. I know that. And I showed signs of thinning a lot, but I had hair. Now, where it went super sour was when I first got prescribed medication for my depression and my bipolar. I started taking a medication called Depakote. Now Depakote, I was on and off for many years of my life, and Depakote absolutely destroyed my hair. I used to have nice curly hair when I did grow it out. In 8th grade I had hair that went all the way to here, but Depakote just annihilated me. So genetics times Depakote was just like it was a hit, and it was a super hard hit. Now I always had insecurities of when my hair was thinning because especially with Instagram nowadays, you go in one of the hottest attributes that you can find on, whether it be an Instagram model, male model or anything, what does everybody swoon over? Their hair. So obviously with my hair thinning at such a young age, I was at a position where I took it personal, my soul got hurt. I felt like I was ugly on the inside because of what was happening. Anyways, I tried a whole bunch of different things, man. I tried topic sprays, I tried a bunch of stuff, and finally I was like, enough is enough, and I started shaving my head bald. So I was completely bald. And that's interesting. That's an interesting area in your life to get to when you finally become bald, especially where when I did, I was overweight and I looked like it's one of the worst times of my life, but I wasn't looking right, and it affected my whole life, man. Losing my hair absolutely destroyed me. So what I ended up doing, there are a lot of surgeries that you can do to restore your hair. I did that when I first moved to Los Angeles, but it was a complete failure. I'm not even gonna disrespect the company that did it to me. It's one of the most world famous and renowned companies. I used a company in Los Angeles, a really expensive procedure. They basically try to plant your hair from different areas of your head, and it didn't work. like it made it worse. I had like ingrown hairs all over my head now. So now, on top of being bald and overweight as I was, I had ingrown hairs everywhere where the procedure just failed. I didn't get my money back or any of that stuff. So moving on from that, I tried, I think, the craziest thing yet that you guys had saw before the last thing that I did, but I went and I found out that men could have like units. They're called units, and it's like a man's hair replacement. And I did that last year, I remember, and I absolutely loved it. I felt 21 again. Like, it's so crazy how much having hair on my head affected me. Like, it was like so much darkness washed away from me, and so much burden washed away, and so much love entered my heart, all because when I looked at my reflection, I saw who I wanted to be, and it made me love myself and filled me up with so much love. When before I would see myself, you're ugly, I hate you, you're disgusting, you don't have hair, all these negative things we say to ourselves. The problem with this hair unit that I applied, which I actually vlogged about, and that was big for me, it's hard to stay on when you live the lifestyle that I lived. I was going to the gym constantly, so taking a lot of showers, and the units weren't built for that. So I ended up going with a unit that was the easiest to maintain, a hair unit, and it was the one that was straight flat. And I kept combing it every day, and more hairs kept coming, and it ended up like right here, I remember. And I remember I posted a picture on Instagram. Everybody was just laughing at the hair, and they were like, you look like the Dumb and Dumber character, you look this, and it touched my soul. I was so sad. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna front like the comments. Like, obviously it was a huge insecurity of mine, so when somebody hits your insecurity, boy does that hurt, man. So I ended up taking off the unit. I was pissed, took it off, whatever. And then I found the newest thing in my hair loss story, which I'm about to talk about, and it's gonna get crazier, so sit tight. I found this thing. It revolutionized my life and my mind, and it was called SMP, scalp micropigmentation. And basically what that is, I didn't even look at it, the correct SMP, as a tattoo, because what I saw it as was, it gave you the illusion that there was hair. It was like, it created the illusion and the fade that there was hair, but there isn't any hair. And when it's done right, boom, it's quality, it's nice. Many actors do it. Many people, there's people you know right now who have done it that you would not even guess it because of how real it looks. So I did that, and it looked great. I knew inside it would extend my acting career because I didn't want to get typecasted in the role that only the bald guy is going to be able to play. So having that little difference there really helped me out. I didn't tell anybody. Nobody knew about it, and I always got complimented on it. Everywhere I went, people were like, oh wow, nice hair, nice hair, nice hair. Like, it was great, not only for my career, but for myself and my self-esteem. I was finally able to go out of the house without a hat. If anybody, like if any of my bald brothers know, when you have to like grab your hat, it's one of the most annoying things in the world because you don't want to always wear a hat, but you also feel so insecure without it. You feel naked without it, so you always have to grab your hat and put it on, no matter how much you hate it, no matter how much it ruins the outfit. And if there's an opportunity to go somewhere, like recently, and I'll tell you why, when I got this done, I forgot where I was with friends, and we were going to a restaurant, and they were like, no hats allowed. I said, thank you, I'm out. And we left, we went to a different restaurant. It affected me that much. So anyways, I did that. It was finally my saving grace. I decided to keep it to myself. I was like, you know what? I'm so transparent with the world. Why not keep this for myself? Like, I did it, I'm happy, it looks good, whatever, move on. So it was still an insecurity to me though. It was still an insecurity because I hadn't overcome that, you know, the feeling of being bald or whatever, but it still was better than being bald. So here's where this video takes place, and things get interesting, and I'm gonna be 100% honest with you guys when I say this. So I recently moved to New Jersey, and I found this place to get my facials done. I'm not gonna say the place's name, and I'll explain why later in this story, but I found this place to get facials done. That's already a mistake. That right there is already like, why? Okay, you're talking about your hair and tattoos. Why are you talking about your facial? Listen, so I'm getting my facial done by this esthetician, I believe it's pronounced. And she's, she's doing my facial, all that good stuff, and it's looking good. And she, because she's so close to me, goes, oh, you got that procedure done. That's what she said. And I was like, oh yeah, she called me out on it. I'm not gonna say, oh no, I don't have, I was like, yeah, I do. And we're in a room privately. I go, yeah, I do. She goes, oh, I do that. I was like, what? Like, I was happy because I wanted to, and then she was like, oh, you know what? I can fix it. Why is it like this? Why is it like this? It doesn't look natural. It should be like this. It should be like that. Mind you, I'm still lying on the table, just working on my face. And then she goes, look, I do my eyebrows, like her own eyebrows. And I know a lot of girls do the eyebrow, whether it be tattoo or dermablading or whatever it is. A lot of girls do that. When I looked at this lady's eyebrows, they were perfect. Like, they were so perfect. And I was like, she did that by herself. She must be an expert. Now, I make very impulsive and stupid decisions my whole life. I always do something and then realize why what I did was wrong and then learn from it. So, not learning from my impulsivity, because I've never been put in a position like this, I ask her, can you do it today? And she goes, no, I can't do it today, but I can get you in next week. Now, mind you, here's what I'm thinking. She told me there was like a couple of things about my line that was incorrect. And my line at the time, I'll show you guys my head in a second. My line at the time was like straight like this, and it was where my natural hairline was, and then I had a line here. So what I thought she was gonna do is bring it more from slant here to straight up here. So to make it look like younger. I thought she was gonna make it look better, and she also said that she could darken it. So I made that appointment for next week. I didn't do any research on her. I didn't check any reviews on her. I didn't think about it at all. I was just excited for that day to come. Because I didn't want to go all the way to the place I went to originally because it was an inconvenience. So I was like, I might as well get it done here, get it darkened. So I lay down and on the table, like my back is on the table, and here's another mistake. Aside from her being an esthetician who does my facials, normally what they're supposed to do, they draw a line. They draw like a white line and they tell you what they're going to do and how they're going to do it. For whatever reason, just my carelessness or something, I don't even ask. I lay down, she starts. Now, a couple of things I noticed during the procedure. This was 100 billion times more painful than SMP. SMP, scalp micropigmentation, it doesn't use tattoo ink. They use a different formula, and the needle they're using is like a micro, like finite, like needle that creates the element and the shading of hair when it's not actually hair. Getting SMP done, you're not replacing your hair. You're not trying to make it look like you have a full head of hair. You're just giving the illusion that you have that like shadow of hair, which men get when they shave. This hurt. It was the most painful 5 hours of my life. But here's where it all went bad. So she leaves the room for a second and she hands me the mirror, and I look at this side of my head because that's the side she was working on, and instantly I felt this wrench in my gut, and I was like, she just ruined my life. I knew exactly what she did. She created her own lines, her own design. Like, she changed the shape of my head, the shape of my hairline. She contoured everything. And the worst part about it, when you get SMP done, you don't touch the sides of your head. Your head naturally grows. You're not gonna lose hair on the sides of your head, so you don't do that. You only give it the illusion on the top. She went all the way down to here, guys, and it was covered all here. I sat there and it wasn't even an anger or anything, because I already knew the second I looked at it, there's nothing I can do to fix this situation. It's happened. Even if she comes in right now and I get up and I say, F you, you just ruined my life. A, it's my mistake for not doing research. B, not asking her to draw the line. C, for being so impulsive. But there was nothing she could do to fix it. So I sat there for the next couple of hours as she completed the work, and it was like all the way down to here, all the way on the sides, all the way on the top. And when I first got it done, it was pitch black. It looked like somebody just painted on my head. So why this happened is, A, she's not a trained professional at SMP by any means. B, she used tattoo ink. She didn't use the ink that they create for SMP. She used tattoo ink, and she used a tattoo needle, which means the dots are much larger than for SMP. Because had it been SMP, it would have been like a finite little dot. She gave me Dalmatian spots all over my head. So you're supposed to wait 5 days, no sweating, no gym, no nothing. And this was just when I was in Jersey, so that's why I stopped going to the gym. So I waited those days, finally shaved it, and it didn't get lighter. And then as days went on, I realized there were spots. Like there's blotches here on the top, there's blotches on the side. You can literally, if you get close to me, count the dots. There's random dots all over my head and everything. So I immediately hit up the guy who originally did my work and I was like, yo, I'm like, my life is over. I'm losing sleep. Like, she ruined my acting career. Like, yo, you have to see these pictures. So I sent him the pictures. He cussed me out because he was like, he's one of the best in the world to do it. Like, when I checked reviews online, he's a legend. He was like, you ruined my masterpiece and now you're F. He was so pissed at me. So I just sent him the pictures and I was like, can you fix it? He was like, I'll see you when you come to LA. I'll see what I can do. I'm sure I could do it. I got excited. So I go to LA. The second he sees me, he just shakes his head, puffs his cigarette. He goes, that's the worst job I've ever seen. And then he butchered the lady who did it. He was like, he went off on her. I'm not even gonna say what he said. But then the worst news ever, he was like, I can't fix that because there's nothing for me to work off of. You've already gone past the point of no return. I can't take out the ink. And luckily, when I complained to her the first time, she said, oh, don't worry. What I'm gonna do the next time is go over the spots that you find too dark with your skin tone color and blend it. When I told him that, he almost slapped the life out of me. He was like, that's not how you do it. So I was so excited because I thought he was gonna be able to fix it when I went to LA. I was like, can you do it? He goes, I can't do it unless you get that removed. Now, I've gotten laser tattoo removal before on my forearm. It was my first ever tattoo that I got in Venice Beach that said fousey tube and it said dollar and a dream. So I know the pain of getting removal, you know, on your arm. I did 8 sessions. So when I Googled the SMP or tattoo removal on your forehead, grown men were saying out of a 10, it's an 11. It's the worst pain they've ever felt in their entire life. I know this isn't even impulsive. I can't live with this. I literally went to the hat store the other day. I know by the lighting right now you probably can't tell, but if you looked at any of my videos close up, you can tell, and I will take my hat off in a second. I went to the hat store the other day to buy a hat that covered it, and finally I was like, you know what? Can I ask you something? She said, yeah. I took my hat off and I said, how bad is this? You know, just talking about the work. And she was like, yo, honestly, I saw you're a customer. You came in last time and you actually looked really good. When you walked in right now and you took your hat off, I was like, what did he do? And then I was like, so it's bad? She was like, yes, it is. And she was honest with me. So at that point, I knew right then and there what I needed to do. Before I tell you guys what I'm about to do, let me just say this. It got to a point where I recently hung out with a girl, and because I knew of how much, like, the insecurity just became 1,000 times bigger because of how bad the job is underneath. When I was kicking it with the girl, the first day I was kicking it with her, not even like 50 minutes into us hanging out, I said, hey, if I'm gonna be hanging out with you, I gotta tell you my biggest insecurity to get it out the way, and you can be honest and tell me how you feel about it. She said, go ahead. I took off my hat and I said, look. And surprisingly enough though, I don't know if she was a compassionate, kind soul, if she was just into me or whatever. She goes, it's not that bad. She said that and she was like, you still look good. I was like, but it's bad, right? She was like, yeah, it's bad, but it's not that bad. She was like, you still look good. It didn't affect her at all. So I got to hang out with her with my hat off. I was relaxed, I was comfortable. So I'll talk about that more at the end of the video. But the only thing left for me to do is to get laser tattoo removal once again on my whole forehead. Probably 7 to 8 sessions starting tomorrow, the day you're watching this video in New York, and I'm gonna document the whole thing. When I first got the tattoo and I was like, oh my god, my life is over, the initial tattoo, and I started getting it removed, it wasn't until I started getting removed where I was like, yo, that's not a big deal. So now that I'm at the point of no return and I know what it is, finally able to stab my insecurity and say, I'm not insecure about it no more. I laugh at myself now. I look like a Sailor Moon Star Trek character. It looks funny, but I'm not insecure about it no more now that I'm able to talk about it to millions of people online. Because before, God forbid anybody saw or anybody noticed, and there have been plenty of comments about it, but what those comments used to do to me won't happen to me anymore because I've come face to face with my insecurity and been like, look, I'm still sexy as hell. I still love myself. I'm still secure in myself. Getting this and making this mistake doesn't define me, and I'm I'm proud of that. So this video to me is so much bigger than just showing you guys this and getting you started for the next journey that's gonna happen over the next 8 months of my life. But I'm able to come to terms with, like, it felt like a guilty thing that I carried around with me everywhere. It's like, it was like a cloud of depression following me because I was so sad about it, especially because of how bad of a job she did. So starting tomorrow, I'm going to New York tomorrow. I'm going to document the whole laser tattoo removal. I'm gonna show you guys before, during, after. I'm gonna show you guys the shading, and hopefully in like 8 months time, I do enough sessions and it's going to fade it. I get no scars and I can just embrace being a cue ball and love myself for it and not care for it. But now let me show you guys what I'm talking about. I'm gonna dim the lights so you guys can see it better, and hopefully I can give you guys a nice visual representation of what I talked about this whole video. Okay, so I think that's dark enough. So I'm just gonna take it right off. Look, so if I was just like this, right? Oh, my head's all sweaty and stuff. One thing I hated about being bald, and I hated doing this thing, is the reflection that shoots off of your head. I hated that. It's like, what it does, man, like, I'm young, man. I have a young soul, but it just makes you feel so much older, and like, anyways, I've embraced it. But so check it out. From this angle, you would just be like, well, it looks dark, right? So what she tried to pass off was actually it looking like hair, but look how dark it is, y'all. Like, she went ham, and right here's where I have all the ingrown hairs. And now the worst part, and this part literally, like, when I saw it, man, it's like if you're doing something private in your room and somebody busting in on you and your gut drops down to your like ankles. That's what it felt like when I looked in the mirror and saw this. Because if you guys see what she did, I have a straight perpendicular, I think it is, hairline naturally that's like this. She went and gave me a curve here, and the worst part about it is she left the point here, came all the way down to here. Now, she did that on both sides, and the worst part about it, if I get really close and try to focus, you will see where she put dots. So there's no, like, you're not supposed to put anything here, and she went here, 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 and put random dots all here, random dots. And it gets worse because when you get to, it's like there's spots all over here where it's just like she just like with a tattoo needle just like bonk 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 bonk. And she knew like how bad it was hurting me, because when I did SMP it didn't even hurt at all. She didn't even try to finish the job. I'm gonna do as much as I can to like cover his head to get him to be able to go home, but this hurts him way too much because it took her like 4 or 5 hours. If you're wondering if I went back to them or anything, hell yes I did. I called them, and after I got word of, you know, the real artist, what he told me about it, I called them and I was like, I need to speak to the owner of your establishment. They were shook. She was like, can you just tell me what's wrong? And I wasn't talking to her, I was talking to the receptionist. I said, I need to speak to the owner of your facilities. So finally, after back and forth, and then one person more than the receptionist, one person more, kept calling me to try to get it out of me. I said, I'm not talking until I speak to the owner. So I talked to the owner and I told him, I was like, look, straight up, I was like, I went to the best artist in the world who does this procedure, and he says this is the worst job that he's ever seen. And I gave him like a list of reasons as to why she butchered me, and I sent him pictures. He was like, how do you want us to fix this? I was like, first things first, this costs me my career potentially if I don't do something about this. She's obviously not trained enough to do that, and I don't even want to put you guys on blast and out like that to tell people to not fall for this trap. I was like, this is gonna cost me thousands of dollars for removal, so all I'm asking for is a refund. I thought it was a totally justifiable thing to ask. It's like, it was a butcher job. It's a super expensive procedure. They charged me $2,800 to do it. He hung up, talked to somebody, called back, and he was like, look, we never do this, but I want to give you a refund. You know, I super apologize. Yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys because that was at least like the one silver, that wasn't even a silver lining. The silver lining is that I killed my insecurity. So, let me put some lights on to get my blemishes. I'm just kidding. So I feel so much better finally being able to say that, y'all. So to all the guys who are also bald, you know, might be tripping and, you know, are scared to take off their hat, or their hair is thinning on the sides. I know a lot of you guys go through thinning and insecurities. Trust me, y'all, especially if you're younger than me. I've been there. I know how much it ruins your life. Yo, I'm just gonna say, embrace it, because the funniest thing about all this, you've already seen it on the thumbnail. I looked at a picture of when I didn't have any of the procedures done and I just had my bald head, and now when I look back at it, I was like, damn, it looked good. Like, you pulled it off so well, you know? And I didn't realize that at the time because I was so insecure of it. So let me just tell y'all straight up, embrace it. If you're a good dude, funny dude, you know, if you're a good person, a girl is, you know, not gonna look at you and be like, I ain't gonna date you because, you know, you lost your hair. She's gonna look so past that as long as you're confident in yourself. But if you're not confident in yourself and you're shy about it and you're insecure about it, she's then not gonna like you. Not because the fact that you don't have hair, but the fact that you don't love yourself. You're not confident in yourself. So literally embrace it. And being able to do this video and being able to tell that girl, I don't know why I pointed there, being able to tell that girl when we were kicking it, I was able to embrace it and just be like, you know what? It doesn't define me. Looks at the end of the day, like, I'm not even gonna get into all that and how insecure Instagram makes all of us as people, and how people who look the most secure could be the most insecure on the inside. And that's actually why they post the type of pictures they post, because they want to represent themselves a certain way so they can mask their insecurities. Not gonna get into all that, but what I will say is love yourself, appreciate yourself, embrace yourself, you know, no matter what insecurity you may have. Life is so short that when you get older and you look at old pictures of yourself, you're gonna stare at it and be like, I was so incredibly good looking, but I spent those years, the best years of my life, being insecure about something that won't matter tomorrow. The more time you let an insecurity hold you down is the more life you're taking away from yourself. You shouldn't let an insecurity stop you from talking to who you want to, you know, going to where you want to go to, being who you want to be, dressing how you want to dress, no matter what your insecurity may be, man. Look how many people there are in the world. You know how many different features we all have. You know how many different ways we were created. It's so insane. And all of us have our own insecurities. But at the end of the day, they are nothing. They are nothing but a feeling that we are feeling, because as long as you accept yourself for it, then nothing anybody says on the outside can affect you, and that your insecurity really holds no weight, no heartbeat, no value, and it's nothing. Secure yourself for it. I secured my big nose long ago in my life, my pointy ears, when I have a little stomach now. And as I grow older, I'm getting more and more secure with myself, and I'm becoming more happy as a person. When I lived in LA, I never would have been able to do this kind of videos because I would have been so insecure of what people would say about it. But now that I'm in Jersey and I have a real grasp of life and I have family around me and I'm happy, I'm like, yo, I could say this. It's not something that makes me look uglier. It's something that makes me look sexier, because I'm brave enough to come out and talk about it and embrace myself for it. The reason that girl didn't trip when she saw it, yeah, because she was, whoa, yeah, because she was interested in me or whatever, but it's also because I approached her with it confidently. You know, I was doing it on the inside to kill my insecurity, but to her I was like, yo, I want to get this out the way. I did this procedure, you know, the lady did a bad job, and I just want to get that out the way. She appreciated and respected that honesty and that courage that it took to do that. Ladies, if you're in the middle of a dinner date and be like, yo, by the way, dude, and then you rip off all your hair and be like, I'm wearing a weave, you know, if that's something you're insecure about, it's a big thing. So I did that with the girl. I'm now doing it with you guys, and I feel like I'm just gonna be so much more relaxed and loose now, and I got that off my chest, man. So now, no matter what anybody in the world says about it, I'm good, because I got it off my chest. I don't care. I don't judge myself for it. Nobody else else, and I hope you guys are catching these lessons, nobody else in the world has room to judge you. Do what you want, be who you want, say what you want, you know, love yourself. Life is too short not to. I hope you guys subscribe to this channel. I hope you give this video more, even if you've never done it to any of my videos, I hope you give this video for this lesson and the courage it took to do that a big thumbs up. And I hope you come back tomorrow, because tomorrow you are gonna see live laser removal on my whole forehead. It's gonna be the most painful thing I'm ever gonna go through in my life, and I'm sure it's gonna be gnarly in the video. So I'll see y'all here tomorrow on The Cat's channel, soon to be one of the biggest and strongest channels and families on YouTube, where the grind don't stop, the tea stays green, and the cats stay roaring. Peace.